You tell me.
All right, we are live.
We are live. We're on. Hey, welcome to Chaps Darkside, and I think this one is episode 30. Is that episode 30? I think it's episode 30. Hey, so we're going to talk cryptids tonight. That's our topic. We're supposed to have a call-in guest. I'll announce him when he hops on, or you'll see. And for that point, our discussion a couple weeks ago, I think with the now famously deleted episode that we had for technical difficulties, namely mine, because I'm just old and can't figure that kind of crap out. We were talking about, my God, get me out of the world of ghosts. That was what my big topic was, right? It was like, because the last couple of years, ever since the pandemic, right, the whole shift of the paranormal investigation culture has moved on to new boundaries. We've got a heap of teams out there that were doing like what we were seeing 15 years ago with the huge drama and all the pretty little toys going off and the lights and the psychics and the this and the that. And that's what people want to cater to and they want to see. And it's really tough, right? And then, of course, with us, having membership dwindling because people have a certain level of apathy after the pandemic, that they've made time for other things in their life and not this. So we, it's hard to actually get ourselves out there. And we add the economy to all this. Mm-hmm. And then it becomes impossible to get out there because we're all poor. We don't get paid for this, right? Yada, 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 right? And then all of a sudden, you've got a whole culture of people that necessarily don't want you in their homes anymore and people that don't actually want to do anything anymore. So I found it kind of disheartening. And I thought, well, man, get me out of ghosts. So I thought, we'll go cryptid, right? There's a lot of interesting things for cryptids or UFO. But herein lies an issue. Like, we're in Ontario, right? I mean, you're not in, well, you're in Ontario, but you're not in the GTA anymore.
No, yeah.
But in the same respect, we're in larger towns or cities. Like, I'm near Toronto. How are we supposed to do the UFO thing? Like, with all the lights that are everywhere, could just be a jet, some kind of aircraft, all kinds of interference from different satellites all over the place and transmission tables. Really, Steve? I didn't know there was any Sasquatch activity in Ontario because that was my next point. With like cryptids, like we're talking about cryptids and stuff. And I'm thinking, what the F is here to go? Like, when I lived out west, I lived in Kelowna, we had Ogopogo, right? But like here, what am I going to go to Port Perry and search for a Sasquatch or something? Or what is what's the cryptid in Port Perry? But as my friend Steve, who I went to high school with Steve, like my first go around. So he's an old guy like me. We were cool. We were in a band together where I was a terrible singer. But he says we have Sasquatch in Sioux Lookout. Now, where's Sioux Lookout in respect to anything else? Is that up near like Sudbury Timmins type thing or Thunder Bay? Because like everything changes up there. That's not even Ontario. that's like pretty much Northwest Territories or Colorado or something. Well, I'll have to wait for him to answer that. So
he says it's not too far off of Dryden.
I've driven through Dryden. I can understand that there would be a lot of strange things up there. I mean, at least up there, it's dark enough at night that you can see, right? Like, I've driven from here to, I don't know why Sioux Lookout didn't chime, but I've driven through Espanola and all those places up there up to Thunder Bay and out towards, I lived out west, so I've driven across a few times. Certainly, at least there's one reason why I would be sort of jealous of living in those kind of territories. You've got that opportunity to maybe go search that shit, but I would kind of wonder, like, if you're going the cryptid thing, What is, I got to turn off my Facebook. I'm getting alerts there. Okay. Now I'm totally devoted to this. You know, I'm guessing you'd have to have a whole heap of different equipment, or would they be similar equipment? We have thermal, we have audio.
Yeah, I'm thinking thermal would probably be a good one. I mean, I'm not sure. I wish our special guest was here because he would probably have more answers for that. Because now is that when we did our Bigfoot podcast, I don't think we really got into much about how he tracked it, like measurably. Like Steve says thermal, audio, and call blasting, so that would make sense.
Oh yeah, kind of sitting there making animal noises and stuff.
But I can't see, I guess, really the trap cam. I know we used to use it.
Yeah.
Wasn't really giving any payoff.
No. Now, what would a call blast be for like Nessie? I'm just saying, it's a good question. I get the idea that with now you're thinking about it, you've got the noise being made in your head, but we've got Bigfoot. Maybe it's like a roar, or a deep bellowous bowel noise. No, I have not. Now we have to look that up, but that's not how you call Nessie. Like I'm thinking with Nessie, you'd have to put your face into the water.
Trail cams are useless.
Ooh. Yes, they are. Their pick rate is terrible. We used to use them, and it'd be funny because somebody would walk by it and it would register like 15 seconds of film and 3 pictures or whatever each time. But it would be like as you'd see them as they're walking by. You get the back of their leg, which really Bigfoot does avoid them. That bastard. Seriously. We got to really talk to the union. I think there's a unifor for big feet. Are they called big feet or Bigfoots? But they're also called Sasquatch. And if they've got white hair and it's snowy, they're called Yeti or abominable snowman. I can't say that word properly.
Are they the same species?
I don't know. That was a question I was going to ask, or that I would like to conquer. When we talk about cryptids, you've got hominids, like the ones that stand up. You've got, traditional cryptid, I figure, like okay, so that's some of them. But you got your little 4-legged freakies, right? And then you've got like your water things, right? I want to be a unicorn hunter. I think that would be awesome. I don't know where I'd search for a unicorn.
Imagine the title, Unicorn Hunter.
The Unicorn Hunter.
Change my name from social media director to Unicorn Hunter. I'll be golden.
Absolutely. And how do we call that shit on? Do we put a horn on the top of our baseball caps and dance around and with like shimmeries coming off of us? And we'll be like the vampires in Twilight, and we'll sparkle when we die. And
but just segueing back to the trail cams, it's kind of funny because we're actually using one at the group home I work in right now because we have a little rat that has found his way into the house.
You're talking about clients that way?
No.
The rat?
No. There's an actual rat.
It's an actual rat. Oh, that's not a cryptid.
The houses are like a bajillion years old. And so we actually have a trail cam set up downstairs, and we've caught a few selfies of the rat throughout the night.
So,
what is a paranthropus?
Paranthropus. Steve, I'm into ghosties. You're kind of like medically trained, so you have big words in Latin. What does that mean?
What's a paranthropus?
What's a paranthropus? That sounds like a slipped disc or something. I managed to tear an abdominal muscle on the weekend. I thought I had appendicitis, and my doctor just said like I ripped up my stomach really good.
You see the infrared beam.
Oh, it's John. John works with me at Whitecap.
Huh. Infrared beams by the trail cams. So that's why they avoid them. So now we have the reason. So we don't need to get uniform for Sasquatch out there.
It's no longer a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, we have our reason. But I'm looking. It's kind of crazy looking at the supernatural creature post, because a lot of these are also like indigenous
Wendigo. Yeah.
cryptids. Yeah, Wendigo, La Llorona. Well, no, that's the Spanish one, La Llorona. But skinwalkers and Wendigos are indigenous
I
North
thought they were
America,
the same.
possibly, but it might just be location difference.
I'm quite glad that we're talking about this because this isn't a topic that I've always found fascinating, but I'm not really learned about it. It's
Also, record on a branch next to humans. I'm still lost. Maybe we should just change our whole scope. Just move from the ghost. Just rebrand. This is so enlightening.
We're gonna have to get Mr. Cornick on our team here. He could open up an entire throng of shit that we don't understand. He's always been smart, and now he's showing it, and I look dumb. So I want you to delete him off this and ban him forever.
Good talk. Yeah, we might
No,
have
maybe we should.
This isn't like
Are you still down Guelph ways, or where are you now? Anyway. So, I mean, speaking about that whole thing there, when it comes to the whole cryptozoology experiment, right? And I do see that obviously a lot of them do bear resemblance with each other, and that's where I come down to. What are you doing with the camera? You're not on the show right now. You fix that stuff when the show's not on, if you are. Oh, you're so lucky. Well, except for the fact you guys get snotted out with winter down there. So they are so similar. Like I lived in Kelowna, BC, where we had Ogopogo. Obviously, I'm not in Scotland for Loch Ness. I don't know if there's any snaky monster supposed to be in Lake Ontario or any of the lakes around here. I know that there's Champy from Lake Champlain, which is another Loch Ness type monster. I think it would be cool to look for them. I just think much like they might say about us, like we go into buildings, sit there, put on audio files and video and pictures and talk, right? Now, we're very fortunate we've had some I won't say proof, but evidence that would support. But when I look at the crypto world, say Bigfoot, for example, how shall I say this? We have all kinds of really high quality cameras, even like simply cameras on your cell phone. Yet no one in the world seems to have caught anything but this legend of Boggy Creek walking across a stream, looking back at the camera since like from 1972. It's like the old
it's always kind of the same structure photo. Yeah.
Like the old school like Zapruder films, and I would think that now with drones and FLIR technology and all the just everything, as well as the fact that it doesn't seem that where some of these cryptos are, I'm just going to call them cryptos, they're in like very isolated areas. Some of these people are searching in rather populated places and they're not catching anything. It's like Mothman. Mothman seems to hang out, the Jersey Devil seems to hang out in like Hoboken and Camden, New Jersey. Why anybody would even like Mothman would be scared shitless to be in Camden. But he's jumping around on top of buildings like Batman or Spider-Man up there, but nobody seems to get like that picture. Whereas we can film, right. It's been proven to be true, you think? I've heard as many arguments against, but fair. A discussion for a different night when we want to get solid in Sasquatch. That sounds like a group. Solid in Sasquatch. But
new band title.
Yeah. So I don't know why we can catch anything on video from a mugging happening to all of a sudden some dude falls on his head off a trampoline and breaks his neck and all that shit. But we can't catch any of this style of footage, even on monitored cameras. So maybe there is. It's much like I think what we do, right? Where we have all kinds of evidence in our files and even on our videos, but it's not like it gets around all that much. It doesn't go viral so much. So maybe there is evidence out there to speak of this. I think it's like when we were talking to the Sasquatch dude, I was totally into it. He invited me to come down to Pennsylvania and go camping in the woods. So to me, I'm thinking it's camping trip. Cool. This is cool as shit, right? But we're listening for a Bigfoot, which in itself is kind of scary crap. I mean, if it's coming at you, but it's trying to avoid the world.
Everything.
Right. So why is it going to come to you? I don't know. I think it's a totally different aspect that I think in cryptozoology, it's almost more about observance than it is about, I want to trigger you. I hate that word, but I want to trigger you to speak up, because of course we're thinking that ghosts are humans, right? Mostly. There's video footage of Bigfoot of Bigfoot dumpster diving at a Native American casino. I'd like to see that. So we've got a couple of crypto fans. I've never talked to Tony Markell. I didn't realize, because you know what? Both John and Steve have been repetitive on our show. And I didn't realize that they're like crypto guys. I know both of them, so maybe we need to have conversations. And we'd have new people. Is there anybody else online, or is it just the two of them?
We have a viewer watching on YouTube as well.
Well, that's good. It's good that somebody's watching. Unfortunately, I know tonight's show isn't going to go super duper long, because I don't know enough about this topic, nor do I have a strong opinion. Well, I do have strong opinions. That's a lie. You know that. It's in front of you. Nessie, Bigfoot, Yeti, Chupacabra, Mothman, Dogman, Ogopogo, Wendigo, Lizard Man, Jersey Devil. Like, which one do we want to go look for? I guess there's more selection.
I mean, oh my goodness, sorry. I don't know what just happened there. What you were talking about?
Talking about might be more of the paranormal side to them, and perhaps interdimensional. This is a much deeper conversation. We almost have to at some point in time take offline and talk about it, because I'm a really basic guy. I know martial arts, bolts, and ghosts. And that's about it, right? And obviously having children, which, by the way, to throw an announcement, grandchild number 9 is on the way. My son is having a boy. Not that we already have 340 girls in our family. I seem to produce nothing but girls, and it seems to follow that trend. But he's having a boy, so
But I was just thinking is that the Ogopogo in BC is like a huge media selling for them, and actually so is Bigfoot a little bit. If you go into Sasquatch, isn't it? What is it? It's near Harrison, BC. They advertise like Sasquatch everywhere. If you go down to not the hot springs, Harrison Springs, you'll actually see figures of Bigfoot. Really? Yeah, and it's down by the water. I actually have a photo of Brandon hugging him. And then if you go towards Kelowna, you'll see a lot more of the Ogopogo. Yeah. I actually have a photo from a kid sitting on the Ogopogo,
at the lake. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's crazy that they actually have both cryptids kind of advertised up there. And then when I was in Saskatchewan, there was a lot of Mothman, to the point that I went home from a sleepover at 3 a.m. because they terrified me about Mothman. So
Mothman gets around.
Yeah, so it seems to be more. I know there was talks about the Sioux Lookout, but it seems to be more out west that you're seeing more of that cryptid, kind of closer to the States, even the talk than it is for necessarily kind of in the eastern Ontario kind of.
So, is it Mothman, or is it just a Mothman who's going around all these places?
It's just Mothman. Brandon says it's funny to think if a house is believed to be haunted, it brings down the value. But if an area is haunted, it's a money maker. Thoughts?
Absolutely. If you've got a property that's haunted and you know how to employ upon that, you've got tons of money. If you know how to market it correctly. Areas haunted. Well, I think that's because there's a certain antiquity to that area and stories. Whether it's a particular house itself is haunted, then people are going to be scared to, want to be there.
I think it also depends on how it's marketed. So, like, if you're advertising the house and they're like, someone died here recently, they might get a little spooked. But if
So
you're like,
that's a physical aspect. That's a physical aspect, right?
yeah,
And initially, somebody's like, "Oh, crap!" You know, there's like, okay, like that house that we investigated that wasn't selling, and they still had all the lady's old furniture in there, including the bed that she died on. And when we, yeah, so when we blue lit the side of the bed, her vomit stains were still on the bed when we went infra on it. So you know, we kind of said to the real estate agent, "This is maybe why it's not selling," right?
well, and that's it. Is that it's the physical thing. Is if we're advertising it as someone died in the house, then because if they hear someone died specifically in the house, it is definitely more emotionally charged. Where if they're saying this house is haunted, they're like, maybe someone died here 70 years ago. Like my house was only built in 94. So if someone like if they told me that someone died in my house, I'd be a little spooked because I think there's only been 2 previous owners. So that means it has to have been at least the last 2 people. One of them have died. And we met the last owner. So, you know, it's kind of like, whoa, what the heck? Whereas if someone's like, hey, your house is haunted, I'm like, oh, maybe it's the neighborhood. Maybe there's, you know, that extended haunting from like another house or, you know, a neighboring, you know, yeah.
I think you know what, when it comes to the cryptids, I think there's a certain amount of rationale that certain species get discovered all the time. You know, that maybe at one point in time would have been seen as this cryptid, you know, this paranormal animal, until they actually do discover it and realize that we've just found a new species. This does happen from time to time, certainly more in, you know, rainforested areas, places where we don't exist. But it's kind of a strange thing, you know. And unfortunately, all the cryptids that are out there, you never get like a cryptid dorkfish. You don't get like fish, right? You know, in the water, it's always like the shit from nightmares that you're going to see. Cryptid always has to be something that can tear you apart and kill you. It's kind of like with aliens, right? Which is another one.
But if you think about changelings, they're supposed to be these like adorable babies, sort of, and then they're actually, is it changelings?
Changeling.
More. Yeah, I know, but they're supposed to be like adorable, and then they're scary, kind of like succubus. Like they're supposed to be sexy, and they're horrific.
I've never run into a succubus.
I know you wish you have.
Well,
my question, Steve, is why have they not been found in Hawaii? Is there a reason?
You can't swim.
Well, that would apply to places like the Tasmanian tiger is also a cryptid, as is ivory-billed woodpecker, to show examples of non-nightmare cryptids.
Okay, fine. There. So basically, Steve just took my argument about the things that nightmares are made of and just did that. Get off my fucking show, Steve. Sorry, I didn't say that way.
No, but I think the question why, because like if they've been found in places like Alaska, then they have a way to get to Hawaii. So what is it like? Is there like a cultural like block there to like?
Well, I think it's obvious. Like there's land, but there's not land in Hawaii. I don't know how to tell you this, Sunshine. I know you're my kid. Hawaii is an island, and there's a lot of water in between. And we all know Bigfoot can't swim. Certainly not that long. Who could swim like that? You think Bigfoot would buy a ticket and get onto a cruise ship? No, because it's too damn expensive. I know. I'm going on one in April.
But he's been in every province in Canada.
No, but even PEI, he could go over.
That's what I'm saying. Okay, so it's a guess that they follow the same routes around the world as humans, and Bigfoot doesn't build boats. Okay. All right. Could he not like hop on a boat?
Stowaway?
Can he not like hide under there and find his way. I mean, he's made it this far without being captured, like physically. So I don't know. I think this is kind of like the ignorance, I guess, towards it. It's like I've
Sure.
had to
Well,
see.
I could talk for days on ghosts, right? But we're talking about an
We
interesting.
haven't talked about giants yet.
Okay.
Oh my goodness.
I never thought about giants because I would have thought that they would have been more than obvious. But I mean, what are we speaking about giant wise? Are we talking like Godzilla height? Like we're talking hundreds of feet, depending on what era the Godzilla was?
Look up giant of Kandahar.
Giant of Kandahar. Well, luckily we're not there for many reasons. And then talking about aliens again.
Oh,
Why
my.
do all aliens, is it big? Like Afghanistan? So it's in Afghanistan?
Yeah.
It's all desert and low profile homes there. What the heck?
I'll get a photo.
Walking around?
I'm just, hang on.
Okay, you two are working together. I didn't realize that two people I knew that didn't know they knew each other, that I didn't know, are actually on the same team.
Huge.
No, that's from Game of Thrones.
What?
No.
The U.S. Army took one out? What?
There should be a lot more people watching this episode. We need to be educated. You guys are interesting. I don't know. I don't know how much of it. I guess I could certainly take some time to learn more about it, though. Now you guys are intriguing me. You're intriguing me to study.
We have homework to do, apparently.
Obviously, because I don't want to sound like a total moron the next time we get on the show. Wow.
It's a wild one. It is a wild one.
We attract a kooky bunch on our show.
We do.
Yeah, Brandon and these two.
We have 4 viewers right now.
4 viewers? Who's the 4th viewer?
Well, we got likes from Robert Bradley and Robin Coley. How I'm not good with names or pronunciations. But
We're liked.
Yeah, so Brandon's watching from YouTube, and then it's
Am I doing that right?
Oh God.
No. Is that cringe?
Use your full hand.
My fingers don't burn that way. Hi, Chris.
Burn? Your fingers don't burn that way?
They don't bend that way.
Your fingers don't burn at all.
Okay, there you go. That's a perfect heart.
Tunnel? Why can't you bend your fingers?
Because
900 Giants of Lovelock came in U.S. as well. And there was reported lesions during the middle. Okay, I know that.
Brandon, you don't have to jump in on this. Kraken and Megalodon. There's a category for that, but we're not looking for them because they're in the water and I can't swim. Have you ever seen the length of my arms, Brandon? Do you actually think that like I can keep myself afloat? I assure you, I cannot. I'm not going to. I can't. Like I'm going on a cruise for 11 days in April. Why I got roped into this?
We're gonna drag you in. The Kraken will scoop you up.
But like, what happens if it does? I can't swim. Not that you're going to swim in the middle of the ocean anyway. Right?
You can't swim.
Not really. Never have.
What?
Not really. I'm not a strong swimmer.
I feel like at once I've been in the water with you as a child.
I don't know. I didn't do things with you when you were a kid. I avoided you. So, if we're talking aliens now, we're on to aliens. Why is it that we all have the same kind of... You guys can talk about aliens now. All the spaceships look the same. They all move the same. And all the people that come out of them all kind of look...
All the photos are this.
Right. And
every time I release a photo, that's it.
So I can go on Flight Tracker right now and see where every single plane in the world is. And I understand that they're registered with GPS and all that shit. But like, with that kind of technology, we can't catch that stuff. And I know that every now and then we get a report that the U.S. government comes out with it. There's a UIA or a UTI or whatever it's called now, flying around that they can't figure it out. And
flying bladder infection.
a flying bladder infection going somewhere. Get the canestin and
that's for a yeast infection.
Whatever. It's some kind of infection. And we don't catch that stuff. And it just doesn't make, to me, a lot of sense. Right? So, but listen, what I'm trying to display now about the cryptid and ufology MUFON thing is that ignorance that people play towards paranormal investigation on the ghost research, past lives research that we do, because they're all like, that's, fucking, yeah, but like, you might think that you believe Sasquatch exists, but what we do is not based in any kind of reality.
And I think that's also why we have a lot. Let me rephrase this. I think that's why the ghosty field is so much more concentrated, at least in like our point of view, because I find that like believing in ghosts is usually like a quick yes or no understanding, whereas evidently there seems to be a lot going into the cryptid, cryptozoology. Interest and belief is, they're finding their evidence in photos, whereas ours isn't so many photos, it's a lot of hours of audio listening and really like not much else. Like it's just her core belief and also the purpose of debunking it.
In any ways, it's obvious that UFOs and crypto is deeply rooted in conspiracy.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's so much proof out there that exists, but we're not seeing it, or we're not open to it, or, as it would seem by the discussion with, if you think about our sample group of 4 people, and all 4 people believe it.
It's just important to know, I think, to not have conspiracy like rooted in a negative tone either. We're just like factually like
no. I'm not saying that you guys are shitstorming. I'm saying
conspiracy like ideology. Like this is what we're developing it off.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not. I'd like to make humor of things.
Of course.
And I'm obviously a little surreptitious with my words. People don't like it, don't watch. But yeah, I mean, obviously, everything that we do, they do, and they do, of the 3 podiums or pillars of paranormal investigation, whether it be cryptid, whether it be haunted, whether it be UFO, all have their conspiracy theories. And let's be fair, everybody thinks we're a bunch of whack jobs.
Yeah.
And within our own little network of people, like me talking about other ghosties, I'll just call them that because it's cute. I think there's a lot of them that are whack jobs, right? We don't all support each other. And you're to the point and don't. Thank you. This is unfortunately what's ended a lot of my friendships. And I'm sure this is why I would have liked to have had a chat with somebody in that field tonight, but we didn't. Is that in their own field, they probably look at each other like crackpots, same as the UFO people. Is it ufologist, UFO people, what's the right word for that? A cryptozoologist, paranormal researcher. Is it a ufologist?
Ufologist.
It's an ufologist. We need to be corrected on this. That's the next show we're going to do in March. March, I don't know yet, but we're going to get
a PhD in what?
Steve has a PhD.
I'm asking in what?
I have a PhD.
I know you don't have a PhD.
No, I'm not well smart enough. I was only college educated.
I'm asking what Steve's PhD.
Chemistry.
Chemistry. Exciting.
Yeah, he's smart. My memory, I believe he went to Guelph University.
That's exciting.
Yeah. He went to MU. But I also think McMaster. McMaster or Guelph so you can go ahead and correct me here, Steve. Remember, we went to high school together. Yep. Okay. So he's smart. And I'm not. So that's perfect. So yeah, we can certainly look into that, and I want to get the UFO spectrum on here, and maybe we need to do some more.
Oh, he works in the winery.
Oh, that sucks, huh? All that free booze everywhere.
I would never be
I
sober.
wish I drank. You know, I think I have like 2 beers and a bottle of wine a year. So the obviously we need to educate ourselves more on cryptozoology because there seems to be a much
it's
bigger bang.
much bigger. Because realistically, if you look at it with the like paranormal, at least the ghost specific part of it, if we keep it really pragmatic, like the way we do, it's like that. And then if you start bringing in like the mediums and the psychics and all that, then it starts to kind of open up a bit. But overall, it's not this large like the cryptozoology is. Which,
yeah, you're saying the field isn't as big.
Yeah.
Or field of study isn't as
big. Like we have like, you know, we've had the mediums on the team and we've had the psychics, but I mean, realistically, that's kind of as far as it goes for the ghost world, at least for us.
Yeah, well, I mean, Christ, to be honest with you, we don't really know what we're looking for.
No.
I mean, it could be like a microbial little dust mite flying through the air with a voice that sounds like me.
You're right? Like, oh, that's it. That's proof.
That's the ghost voice. Are you aware of wildlife organizations studying cryptids?
I really hope he's asking Steve and John because he very well knows we don't have that answer.
Yeah. So thank your husband for making us look stupid.
Punching the noggin.
Yeah.
Just kidding. I don't support domestic violence. Mediums and psychics have been used in cryptozoology.
Cheap drunk like the old days. Yeah. Hey, wait. I was never a drunk.
BFRO. Okay, that's where the other guy.
Yeah, he was part of that. Yeah, we interviewed a guy from BFRO. It was our most popular podcast.
Oh, yeah, we had tons of viewers that day.
Yeah, and he was actually a pretty fascinating guy. It did sound like a lot of fun. Like I'm looking at it for the fun shit. It's kind of like when Brandon comes on an investigation, he wants to check out the cool place, right?
He's always a little scaredy cat.
But he's always a little bit of a scaredy cat.
I can guarantee he's in the other room going.
I am jealous of that. I'm jealous of that.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't, you not remember like the first time we did like spooky place that you went on a spooky place and might have actually gotten a little bit of a bone chilling thrill up your back. That's awesome. I missed that.
I mean, I see it from you every once in a while. I think the last time we did SJJ, we had a few moments there where we're like, holy crap, what was that?
I love it. Yeah. I live for that.
A lot of our resis, we don't. No. Those are usually it's kind of funny, but we do it kind of to comfort the family.
Absolutely.
So a lot of our resis, very much of us just sitting there and letting them know their house, as far as we're aware, does not have evidence.
Best book for Moonshiner finds Bigfoot drunk. That would be cool. I guess. And terrifying at the same time.
Because drunk Bigfoot's strong Bigfoot and drunk Bigfoot's crazy Bigfoot, which means drunk Bigfoot will kill us.
And in the morning, drunk Bigfoot needs a huge toilet.
Wait, the poops he could land. But question, does Bigfoot kill?
Well, of course he kills.
I don't know the tale.
He's a well-known mass murderer.
Is he alive? Is he eating animals? I don't know.
Of course he's eating animals. He's killing animals. Okay, yeah, see?
So
he's a killer. So we need to catch Bigfoot because he's a murderer.
Okay. And does he have like a preference? Scary Forest Adventure would be drunk Bigfoot and cocaine player.
I still have not seen that movie.
But wait, does many Bigfoot people in forest possibly Bigfoot? Okay. So are they all turning into Bigfoot? Are we like populating together?
Oh, okay. So now we're talking about some kind of like.
Does he have a preference? Killed. Okay. Killed by. Okay. Sorry.
No, I thought he meant like you thought. You know, people get missing in the forest and like they touch something like Outlander and their body gets, transformed.
Okay, but like, does he like the big bulky hunters, or is he going for like children? Now I have so many questions, and Steve's willing to answer them all.
Yeah, we're just gonna sit here and keep asking Steve. So is it like you know how you put like a big bowl for birds to come down and eat? Do you fill like a swimming pool in the forest with dead bodies?
All right, good to know.
Oh shit.
Oh, what about that day that the bear was chasing after me? Maybe it was Bigfoot.
Okay, so we've got a little story here. When Fiona was a little kid, I have been teaching martial arts for a long time, and we had a survival camp up near the Ottawa Valley, and we had put up some cables and stuff to do across the rivers. I went down there to take some pictures, and this nitwit, and she was probably 2 or 3, and
in my giant shoes.
She looks and goes, I don't know, bear. It starts running towards the creek, and there's 2 baby bears. And I look to the right, and there's a mama black bear about 40 feet away. So I've got to run down there. I tear my pants wide open, jumping over, grabbing her, throwing her on my shoulder, and running to the car, which was about 400 feet away before we get killed. So that was our crypto moment.
It could have been Bigfoot.
It could have been Bigfoot. It looked like a bear to me.
Ape Canyon. What is Ape Canyon? Steve, your brain is too large. How are you holding all this information?
It's just he's having verbal diarrhea tonight, isn't he?
I can't even finish a single thought on a good day. So the fact that he's just got this all in there, prepped and ready to go.
We're gonna have to like screenshot the entire conversation and have a research week. Here's your project. Here's 66 different things said by Steve Kornick. Yeah, that's a whole lot of fascination. Actually, between all of them on there, you guys are making for an entire show. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I got years of reading the Toronto Sun. See how educated I am? That's about all I have. So I'll tell you what, we're going to have, it's 42 minutes right now. We're going to have a show in March. Probably I'm going to see if I can find a UFO person. They're a ufologist, a UFist, to come on the show. Sorry we didn't have a guest on tonight. Believe it or not, we had actually contacted 5 different people upon references to come on. We were going to have a forum of 5 people, 4 of which didn't get back to us, and 1 that did get back to us, but unfortunately did not carry through. So we're going to let that be what it is. Peace to everybody out there. It's totally awesome. I really, really enjoyed it. I really did.
Yeah, it was fun.
So until the next time, I have got no closing line.
Yeah.
Go. Bye.
Yes.
Bye.
Steve. Yes.
Go. I'll PM you.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Go.
Bye.
Go.